Hey, welcome back to Talk of the Town. My next guest is Amy Johnson from Madison Essential Magazine. Amy, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us today. So, talk to us a little bit about what inspired the creation of Madison Essentials Magazine.
Well, Madison Essentials Magazine basically started because we wanted to put together a magazine publication that would talk about our community, people, places, and things. And it's really features-based. So Madison Essentials Magazine also started initially as Madison Originals Magazine.
Yes.
We had a partnership with the Madison Originals Restaurant Organization for the dining portion of the magazine, and then we would include additional community information. That partnership, while we're still supportive, is no longer, and we are still promoting those businesses as well as other businesses that are in the restaurant area.
Okay, very cool. And I thought that sounded familiar, the Madison Originals, so that sounded more familiar. And so how long have you guys been doing the magazine? You know, when did it start as the Originals and how long have you been doing it?
We were actually as the Originals for about 10 years.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
we just made the switch at the beginning of 2015 to
Right.
Essentials.
Right.
So, and we also changed to the name Essentials because we wanted to emphasize to the community how important the people that we have in each issue are to what makes our community what it is.
Can you give us an example of what's a typical feature that's covered in the magazine, and also do you have a personal favorite at all?
We have some regular features, so we still do feature different dining establishments. We feature retail businesses. We regularly feature a nonprofit organization, artists. We have a home segment each issue, things to do. Probably my own personal favorite would be the arts, because it's just my own personal favorite.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So obviously the types of people who are reading this magazine, hopefully, are residents and then visitors or tourists. What do you hope residents, people from the Madison area, will learn from reading this publication?
Well, I think even if you live here and you're familiar with the people or businesses that we feature, we're trying to tell the story behind the business or organization. And hopefully we're letting you know something you didn't know about it, especially with some of the nonprofits too. Actually, for a while we were featuring different historic locations throughout the area, and you know, they'd be places that people would drive by but didn't think anything about them and didn't know much about them.
Sure.
So we're hoping that what we do for people who live here is sort of open their eyes a little bit, because it's really easy to just sort of go about your business without really thinking about the different things in the community.
And there's so many places to discover. I mean, it's, you know, Madison's not a huge city, but it's bigger than a lot of people even realize who live here. And I've lived here most of my life, and I find myself when I'm out driving to meet somebody somewhere that, you know, there are places that I've never been to in this city before. And so I think it's really cool that you're kind of covering that and giving people that sort of background knowledge of the story behind some of those places.
Right.
So what about visitors and tourists? What can they expect to learn from something like this?
The magazine's been very popular with tourists and visitors. Even the university asks us for copies to give to people who are visiting there.
Sure.
Because people who are coming to the area really want to know what is, you know, what there is in Madison that they're not going to find in other places. So because we're sort of features based and everything we feature is local, so they're not things you're going to find in other communities. People really like to pick it up, and you know, it helps them figure out what they're going to do while they're here.
Yeah. Now, really quickly before we go, can you talk to viewers about, first of all, how often is this published? How often do you publish a new edition? And is there a way to subscribe, and where can readers get copies?
Sure. We actually publish quarterly, and you can pick up a printed version at over 150 locations throughout the greater Madison area, most of those locations in Madison. And then also you can read it online. There's a digital version online, which you can subscribe for free to get that, and whenever any issue comes out, we would notify you that it's out.
So this is a free publication?
It's all free.
Very nice. We like free around here.
We want to make it as easy for people to access the information as possible.
Absolutely. Well, Amy Johnson from Madison Essentials Magazine, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Be sure to look for it. It's all around town. 130 different locations, you said?
Over 150.
Over 150 different locations around town. Don't go away. There is more Talk of the Town coming up right after this. Stay with us.